What's up, guys? So let's talk about Archeage Classic, the private server that launched almost 2 weeks ago now. So we're doing our 2 week review roughly 2 days early. The server did launch on the 4th of August. And we have the initial launch recap here from the devs himself, or the owner, whatever you want to call the guy, I'm not sure. Aguru is the one behind all of this stuff. So I'll go ahead and read you this, but first let's give my basic thoughts on everything. So originally, we did a preview of Archeage Classic, right? And saying that you were coming into this with rose-tinted glasses, that thinking this is going to be the perfect server. It's not going to be perfect. There's going to be issues. There's going to be bugs. There's going to be pay to win, etc., right? There's going to be problems. Well, as we're seeing now, there are problems, but there isn't any pay to win though. So he's held up his end of the bargain so far on the no pay to win aspect, which I give him tons of credit for. But there have been problems and issues, and this is all coming directly from them as well. So let's jump into it here. So launch weekend recap. So after what's been an emotional weekend, I'm here to deliver a small recap of how the launch went and how things are going to go now. Here it goes. So for those of you that were here on Friday for the initial launch, you'll notice that it has been terrible. We'll admit it, it's not really looking good. A queue was bugged, server was crashing, really not the sort of thing we want on our servers. We even wiped the database due to some heavy-hitting exploits that allowed these crashes to happen. From all the information available to us, the server was being voluntarily crashed by a third party exploiting a vulnerability we had not seen during the different betas we ran. We were, however, able to fix said vulnerabilities. So, I don't give them any fault for this. This is expected. When you launch a game, you're going to have issues. So this is not what I was talking about in my earlier reviews. This is normal. This is expected. Like, if you thought the server was going to launch without queues, without problems, without lag and issues, you're crazy, right? You are simply crazy. There's almost no game in the history of MMOs that have launched with like a perfect server in the beginning. So totally understandable that there was issues and problems. What happens is next is how they respond to these problems, how they fix these problems, how they react. So they go on to this. So on to the real launch day, the next day. So they pretty much scrapped day one, which this is something that Tryon Worlds Exo Games has learned, that you don't launch a server on Friday, because Friday there's more people available to play the game. The weekend is the most, desired time periods of, gamers, because they have it off. So on Friday, a lot of people will take that off to play the game, more so than if they launch it, say, on Wednesday or Tuesday, which is what the other companies, XL Games, Tryon Worlds, has learned, to launch the games on Tuesday/Wednesday, middle of the week, so there's less players and they can, work with this new patch and new update, see if there's issues and problems, and fix them faster until the weekend approaches, and then they have the floodgate of massive amount of players. So that was one of the issues here, is that they didn't think about launching the game on like Wednesday or Tuesday, which would have been better overall. But still, they would have had issues. They would probably had to stop and wipe. They said they were being attacked and so forth. Very, very common stuff. So on to the real launch next day. Once Saturday came, we launched again off a clean slate, except everything was lagging. It turns out the inventory module was responsible for it, and coincidentally, this affected Quest very much, given their huge dependency on the inventory module. Oh no, we're doomed. Well, we were a bit scared at first. After the lag was noticed, people were a bit gloomy. We were getting down, reacted at every turn. Awesome. But after a few sleepless nights and enough cans of Monster Energy to fuel an entire college dorm for a month, we found the cause. To better handle the player load that was happening, we also wanted to upgrade the hardware, which meant waiting on server hosts until Monday for them to wake up and hit the deliver button. On to Monday. Early on Monday, we received the server hardware. Being the sneaky darters that we are, we decided to not tell the community that a maintenance that would solve the issues was happening. We wanted to let everyone experience it firsthand and then do a grand reveal. As it turns out, this was a massive success. Players reported absolutely no lag, and we pretended was due to lower player count as we are slowly letting people in. Ha, joke's on them. At this point, we'd already had 2 times the concurrent players count from before. No lag, double the players, feels good, man. So we kept letting players in, getting about 3x the concurrent users count we had before without a drop of lag. Players obviously went, okay, no way Guys, they must have upgraded the servers right. And yes, we did. But I think people took the surprise well. Now everything runs super smooth. I've seen some of the biggest Golden Plains battles this game has probably ever seen, with up to 600 players taking part in the fight. That's 12 raids in a single zone. Some increased latency was expected, but it was still more than manageable. At this point, the game client itself was the issue because it was having trouble keeping up. We are very excited to deliver this experience to all you guys, and we hope we'll keep matching your expectations. Land Rush update, so they give you an update here. Because of the server delay happened, we could not in good conscience give you guys a Land Rush on Sunday as initially planned. We have thus decided to move the Land Rush to Saturday, the 12th of August at 4 p.m. Eastern. Dungeon availability issues. Due to the aforementioned server issues, we had lowered the maximum number of open dungeon instances at the same time. This is now causing some players to have to wait to enter dungeons. We will be increasing the number of dungeons instances available in the next maintenance. It should help alleviate the problem. It might not fully because there is a lot of players. Marketplace changes. Tomorrow, Wednesday, the Marketplace will be welcoming its own set of changes as we add some more cosmetic things to expect. 2 Yada costumes, 2 undisclosed costumes, see for yourself soon, a summer-themed Marketplace release along with costumes and more. The Daru subscription box will be available for purchase, limited to 1 account. This limit will refresh every month. The Daru Trinket Shop will be delayed by a few days and open around the weekend. With all these server issues, we've had to reprioritize. Other issues, name change reservation. We are now issuing renames for those who had reserved a name but could not get it. Submit a ticket on Discord and ask for it. Racial skills for some races. Some racial skills are simply not working. This is known and will be addressed in an upcoming patch. And then there's a list of known issues. So overall, the launch went pretty well, I'd say. So expected you're going to have issues. They had over 10,000 players logging in on the server launch day, as based on the queues and also the Discord signups. So a very, very healthy start to the game. The lag issues were very annoying, it looked like. I did watch some Twitch videos and see people sitting around in a quest for 1 to 2 minutes doing the quest there. But everything seemed to have worked out, and they've recovered quite well on this, this patch, this game, and letting people have fun and enjoying the game. 600 people in Golden Plains battles, great. You always do see a massive amount of players in the first couple of days of the server, all the way up to about 2 to 3 weeks of the server. Everyone jumps in with a nostalgia and wants to play, and then slowly realizes that the game still sucks. Okay, so on to the next part. So, let's walk that back. The game does not suck, but the game has a lot of issues, which we touched upon in the pre-video on the server. Archeage itself is a flawed game and has tons and tons of issues. So as you play, you learn it's a daily grind. You learn that it's not necessarily fun. The in-game content is, unbalanced because, gear disparity. That's what I say. But people claim just pay to win is the main reason behind the gear disparity and so forth, right? So class imbalances and more. Now, let's move on to the next issue, because that wasn't the only issue. And this is why I also wanted to do a review 2 weeks after the game launched. So they had issues with people, AFK, and they're like, no, you cannot AFK, you cannot sit, no jury seats, no hitting scarecrows, running in circles, etc., because they want actual people to be in game and not people, just being there taking up server space. So go on to why can't you fit the lag? The issue with the launcher games on weekends is that the game update is needed. It's nearly impossible to get approved until the week rolls over due to people taking the weekend off. The Daru's planned to have the servers upgrade right away, but we're not able to, thus leading to the server current issues we have. And this is the Monday thing, talking about that. So very cool. The communication was great. They did a lot of communication on them, and they go on to telling about that here in the Discord, the recap here in the forums, but then you come up with Land Rush, which is generally a big problem and issue in these games, and there's almost always problems. So once again, you have this Land Rush went horribly. Should we have tested this more? Yes. The main issue here is that we did not consider a game would ever use a client-side time check. We did test land grab on the public test server, and it did not encounter any of these issues. We managed to work out how this issue occurred and why this was not a huge issue on other servers. Trian's client had a time offset value added, which forced the client to use a specific time zone, which made the client ignore the user's local time. Our client is not the Trian client and had no such setting. Should we have backed up the server before the land rush? Absolutely. This was a huge mistake and an oversight that is not an issue that will be made again. I would like to personally apologize to everyone that this happened. I know I would be pissed if I was just a player in the situation. It has been a tough few hours for us. Daru's trying to work out a solution as there really isn't one that makes everyone happy. People are upset for different reasons and have the right to be. Being unable to contest popular spots such as Kraken Island for teleports, which are critical for competitive play, being unable to contest and get land in important zones such as Mermaid Tiers and prison camps for the pack house. Some guilds planned to get entire housing zones and were in place to do so, were unable due to the time zone bug. The main issue are that this land rush wasn't fair, and we agree that it's not okay. So, what solutions have we thought about? Placing public ports on important continent islands like Kraken Island. The issue with this is people went to these islands to contest land and gave up any other land. That would be unfair to them. Wiping these high contested areas and unlocking this land during Aurora launch. Issue with this is people already have the land they want elsewhere and zerg those zones. Next, people who already have land there will be upset. From what we currently know, the people who contest land like Kraken Island all got spots anyway. Next up, wiping all land next week. This would give everyone a fair chance, but it really isn't an option. People have already settled down, and doing this would cause more people to quit and leave than doing nothing. Doing nothing. A lot of people have said just do nothing. The server will recover with time. The issue here is the imbalance, and it still means that land rush was unfair. Place a pack machine on some of these high contested areas, Mermaid Tiers, Prison Camp. These would be normal pack machines only. This would devalue the land though. And it says, we want to reiterate that they are sorry for what happened and working on to come to a solution which caused the least damage. We appreciate the damage is already done and that there isn't a complete fix, but we are still committed to doing our best to make the server the best it can be. We appreciate all the constructive criticism and are taking it into consideration. We're still looking to give away some compensation as a good gesture and to show our commitment to you guys, and we'll post more information about that later today. So, Land Rush was a disaster. There's no way to slice it. They come out and say that it was bad. At least they're owning it, right? That's the thing. So they're owning the mistakes, saying it won't happen again. We'll see. Well, because next up you have Castle and Aurora Land opening coming up. So they tell you Aurora will open on Friday 18th. Server maintenance precise. All zones except for Reedwind will open. Diamond Shores, Golden Shores will be set for grab Sunday the 20th, 6 p.m. Eastern. Unlike Retail 3.0, Golden Reigns will also have its own conflict cycle. Castle claim will occur on the first Sunday following the Diamond Sword base reaching level 3. It will then occur every Sunday as the bases are level 3. In case not all castles are claimed in the first attempt, there is currently no plan to give a faction pity levels should they fail to reach level 3, as the server seems populated enough for this to happen at the same time for both. Castles will open the moment a castle is claimed inside their respective zone. Lordstone housing will be for the ruling guild, and any other housing in the area will be up for grabs. Instances, the Battle for Mistmore will be available 3 times a day. Serpentis will be open to level 50 to 55. The Mistsong dungeons will not be open at this time. So you have the future content plan that's coming up with the release of these zones. We'll find out if they've learned from their land rush mistakes or not. But overall, it seems like they did a fairly good job with things considering. They've kept their promise of no pay to win, and they've had some issues. But if we look into the general chat, you see people are talking about issues, and the issues that some people are saying right now is that trade packs are worth nothing, things like that. So economy issues, you're never gonna please everyone in a game like this. So, but overall, I think they did do a good job for what they have. I am, happy that you guys are having fun and enjoying Archeage Classic. Definitely things could have been better, and that's what I try to reiterate in my prior review videos in the beginning when I was telling you, hey, Archeage Classic is coming. But don't expect a perfect game, because you're not going to get a perfect game. So I would like to say that my predictions were fairly correct on this. You definitely have a game that is fun for some players, and you're going to have mistakes and issues. The thing to worry about is, are they doing right by the players? Are they correcting the issues? And are they keeping that population? So we'll have to see in the future what holds for Archeage Classic. There is also that just dark shadow that they have Trion Worlds, XL Games. Well, Trion Worlds is dead, but XL Games and Cacao Games, with the trademark on Archeage, could they try to shut the server down? That is always hanging over them, and it could be an issue in the future. We'll have to see how that plays out. But overall, it seems like this was a fairly successful launch with a lot of people hyped and excited for it. You do have a lot of, new posts and threads on Archeage Reddit as well. You've got a lot of people talking about it. But again, the drama does appear. People are very angry. Some people are very angry about this land rush and the issues, and it's simply part of kind of Archeage. Archeage has always had problems and issues. And nostalgia hit, I want to play Archeage, can't decide. Is the population of Archeage Classic suffering? So far, do you see yourself playing the game for the next year? Interesting. So, people are already starting to bag on it, saying, population's suffering. The question here. Bro, you asked the population suffering and the title and the opposite in your question. Yeah. The server population as fucked as is great so far without pay to win balloon. Who gives a fuck about whether that changes? Didn't take long for me to stop playing. Who cares what happened in a year? It's just a game. Definitely not much life thriving. So, you're just starting to see, Archeage doesn't hold players. That's one of the big issues. That's what people were saying, that Archeage Classic is going to be better than Arcworld. Well, Arcworld holds its players. Arcworld's had most of the players since the launch. Yes, we do lose players in Arcworld, but Arcworld maintains the players for whatever reason, whatever fixes and changes they did. It holds the players better than Archeage has ever done. And I've played 10 Archeage fresh start servers and launches and relaunches. The same issue. You got people scamming around trades with the wood. It's just, it's Archeage, guys. This is what Archeage is. And by its nature, you have a lot of trolly / evil / just bad people in the community that push away other players because it's a PvP war game. And so it's in their nature to be jerks and assholes to other players and fight and kill, block, trade, steal loot, steal trade packs and things like that. It's in their nature to be dicks. And that just doesn't lead to growing a population. So we'll see. The curse of Archeage continues. This is about the land rush right here. Why are there so many server options? Classic versus Rage. Anyway, though, but I think overall this was a very, very successful launch, and congratulations to Archeage Classic. I will talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching. As always, let me know in the comment section. Am I wrong? Am I right? What is the economy like in this server? How are the material prices? How are logs, lumbers, things like that going? How are the farmers reacting? Is land full right now, right? That was another issue, is over the course of time, after 3 months, 4 months, people don't care about land besides the main islands and big teleport location spots and Aurora up north for regrade brazers. Basic land is just whatever. Is land full? Is land completely filled up in the world right now? Hopefully it should be. With enough players, there should be almost all the land plots taken. And, the crops should be thriving. Over time, I see that dropping off because that's just historically what has happened in these games. So let me know. I'd love to hear from you guys. Again, I'm not playing this game, so this is all information from Discord, forums, Reddit, Twitch, friends that are playing this game as well. But yeah, I think they did a pretty good job actually. So, hats off to them. Congrats. Have fun, enjoy, and play whatever you want to play, guys. I will be playing Arc World, but have fun playing Archeage.